ACC Women's Lacrosse presented by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. Klockner Stadium, Charlottesville, Virginia, where the Cavaliers are 3-0 at home this season. Notre Dame looking to disrupt that little record today. Both teams coming in at 3-1 in ACC play. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leah Secondo alongside Courtney Connor. And Courtney, as we look at this matchup, this could very well come down to head-to-head play in the upcoming ACC championships. Two of the top 11 scoring teams in the country.
When you look at both Virginia and Notre Dame, it's like looking in the mirror. They're very similar. They both have three top players who kind of lead them each and every game. But it's very important within the ACC in terms of rankings as well as the NCAA to come out on top.
Absolutely. 14 different goal scorers for the Irish this season, but probably the most balanced but quietest in doing her work is Jack. The draw could also be one of the keys this afternoon, Courtney. While Notre Dame is solid overall in the draw circle, Virginia has one of the best in the country.
Looking at Virginia, you have to talk about Aubrey Williams. She does a great job of raking in over 8 draw controls per game for herself. She has about 81 on the season so far. She's figured things out, and I have to give this edge to Virginia, even though Notre Dame is very good at this as well. I think it's going to be a deciding factor that we're going to talk about throughout the entire game.
Intangibles could certainly come into play. Each possession, obviously, the most important possession, and it all starts on the draw. So glad you could join us this afternoon on the ACC network and the ESPN app as we are underway. And the Cavaliers coming up with it, and the first opportunity here to start this match off. There's McGovern, number 16 in white.
You know, winning the draw, it really sets the tone. You give yourself some confidence as a draw taker, but more importantly, a first possession for your team. And obviously, you want it to culminate into a goal. Make sure that your 90 seconds for that shot clock are time well spent, letting everybody touch the ball and get comfortable on the field.
Spent a lot of time with both squads yesterday afternoon, and it kind of came away with a Christmas Eve type of feel to it, the atmosphere of tournament play, the anticipation of just a real big game feel this afternoon. Irish trying to come up with it out of the turnover. McGovern somehow scoops it up, keeps the play alive. Wow, on the double team, and it'll stay with the Cavaliers.
And very important to note, you see the shot clock is still moving. No possession was given to Notre Dame, so the shot clock will not reset, so there's not a lot of time left in order for Virginia to get a good look on goal.
You saw the big 6-footer Lily Callahan, number 35 in goal, as the shot clock is winding down. Takes up a lot of space in that goal area. Good defense by the Irish. Cavs got to hurry here. And a good job defensively.
So Notre Dame, you've got to credit them. Their defense, they've really committed to playing a zone this year. Christine Halfpenny, she talks about the ability for her team to cause turnovers. So it's not just playing good defensively, but making the other team cough up the ball. And we saw Virginia do it twice. They got the ball back, but then to not have a quality shot on goal, that says something for your defense. You kind of puff your chest out a little bit more, knowing that you stopped a great team who's averaging more than 16 points a game.
Notre Dame first in the ACC in controlled turnovers per game. And here we go, the Irish, their first opportunity. You expect them to kind of pull things out and kind of see what the Cavaliers are giving them, or go right at it quickly?
You know, it's very different style of defense than what they've seen. They just saw a zone defense. Now this is a man from Virginia, and sometimes it can take a little time to get used to. You've been playing a bunch of zone, now you're going to be playing against a man, see what you got.
Foul on a push there. Making her 10th start of the season, the Cavaliers have two very equally qualified goalkeepers, and for the Cavs this afternoon, Ashley Vernon will get the start. Take a first look on an 8-meter. Right up over the top, and how about that? The Irish striking quickly here to get on the board.
Yesterday at practice, we saw Virginia taking a lot of 8 meters, getting some practice in for their offensive players. But as well as their defense, they were looking to make connection on either side of this Notre Dame player right here. And then Ashley Vernon, a lot of stops were made yesterday in practice, but on low 8 meters, a lot of players electing to shoot away from the stick side. So this was a well-placed right around the hip area offside. And when you have a good takeoff from the line, and when it's a shot well placed, it's very hard to make a save off of that or to even get a stick defensively.
Graze right over the top of the right shoulder there. 10th goal of the season for MK Doherty. Now 4 players in double figures in scoring this season for the Irish. So taking advantage, working their defense into offense with the stop on the super defense of the shot clock violation and taking it right downfield and putting Notre Dame on the board first.
So the fact that Virginia has won another draw control, just 2 have been taken, they have both possessions. It's incredibly important for them to get a shot on goal. You want to obviously score each and every time you have possession. That's not very likely in any lacrosse game, but that's what you tell your team as the coach. And last time they didn't have a good shot. The shot clock wound down. So I do expect for them to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency on this possession. You don't want to waste it.
Abby Manalang up top, number 11, feeds it inside, and Jaime Biskup on the cut through. Little catch and shoot, and we're knotted in 1.
In a zone defense, you're gonna have cutters coming to try and get you out of your position. Virginia has been working a lot on that. They've played against a lot of zone defenses as of recent, most recently James Madison, so they are feeling their cutters. Right now, it's just a matter of sending them, and Jaime Biskup, number 8, capitalizing on that feed from Abby Manalang inside, knowing when to cut, timing it just right, so very important. And Leah, we saw yesterday at practice, that's something they worked on over and over again, knowing that cutters is most likely going to be their best chance of scoring.
Julie Myers right there in her 28th season as the head coach at UVA. An incredible stat, realistically, between both of these coaches this afternoon. In each of her 28 years has taken the Cavaliers to the NCAA tournament. And for Coach Halfpenny, the last 9 years of her 11 at Notre Dame having the same accomplishment. So really incredible when you think about it. And of course, the ACC top lacrosse in the country day in and day out. The ball will stay with the Cavaliers, as they have now taken 3 consecutive draws. Overcast skies, a little bit of a drizzle this morning. Shouldn't play into effect on the footing of the field here at Klockner.
But you have to wonder if there's a difference in sticks. It was not raining for UVA's practice yesterday, but it was a downpour for Notre Dame. And when your sticks get wet, they tend to tighten up a little bit more. But I think each of the teams out here during warm-ups probably worked out any kinks in their sticks.
You can hear the Cavaliers yelling out 30 seconds remaining. Great save as it bounces off of Callahan's body, and look at how far that rebound comes out.
Anytime you're making a save, it's a good thing. Obviously, a shot clock reset, not what you want to have, but more importantly, she came up with the save. They're just going to need to make, or look to make, another defensive stop, as Notre Dame, they are known for their defensive prowess on the field.
Like trying to release her hands, unable to, but at least able to pass off the ball. Wow, the traffic really closing in on the 8. McGovern goes low, ricochets off Callahan. Keep in mind, Lily Callahan, just 9 games a year ago. All smiles through that mouthpiece.
I like the fact that Morgan Schwab, number 14 for UVA, she was not giving the defender a chance to give the ball back to the Notre Dame goalkeeper. You were sitting there waiting, watching Lily Callahan asking for the ball, but the tough ride by Morgan Schwab was turning that into a not easy pass back.
Julia Carr doing a great job racing downfield, the sophomore trying to set up her teammates in the attack as the Irish settle in. The runoff and the response quickly as Mayton.
Jackie Wolak, we talked about her in the open. We talked about her ability to feed the ball, but again, that's not by design. It just kind of happens with her being the quarterback. She is a Dodger as well. 20th goal this season throughout her 9 games. And they're sizing up the one-on-one defense of Virginia right now. So they're testing the waters. You see her take her defender out wide. She's looking to gain that top hand on her right side, just running by, not any slides coming defensively. So very easy for Jackie Wolak once she got a step.
Very efficient on the shooting this afternoon by Christine Halfpenny's team. 2 for 2 on the day to take a 2-1 lead. Asked Kelly Dennis to leave the field, and I had a little bit of blood exposed. Cover it back up. Get Kelly back out there for the draws. Kelly had a career high 100 draw controls in 2022.
Gotta love the band of UVA.
Awesome.
They're here in action. You hear them cheering from the stands. I didn't know they have a hand motion here in Virginia.
The Who's unable to come up with the draw, the slip. Menelek upfield. Cavaliers, they decide to let it settle back in, get some numbers in for their attack. Slightly for a second, Courtney, they had the advantage.
You know, I'm a little bit surprised because they can be a very good run and gun team. But right now they're still just trying to figure out that zone and don't want to take any risk in a fast break situation. Want to make sure they work the clock to their advantage.
Kiki Shaw looking for some space. Being poked at there by Doherty.
And we've seen Kiki Shaw, number 23 for Virginia. Her role evolved throughout the year. Initially, she was more of a defensive midfielder, would score some goals here and there in transition, but now we see her staying out on the offensive end a lot more as the season has progressed. You know, as players develop, you want to make sure to reward them on the field, and she's certainly put up some more numbers.
So, Courtney, you work a lot with younger players with the aspirations of playing collegiately. That versatility of having that mindset early in their career, how important is it as they progress along?
And you want to make sure to work on every facet of your game. You certainly want to make sure that you're putting in the time. Even if you're somebody who just likes to cut, you still want to work on your dodging capabilities. And just as yesterday we saw Ashley Vernon, she was getting extra shots even after her team was done practice working on 8 meters. And you love that. You have to do and put work in outside of practice. You certainly can't get everything done within an organized team practice. It's doing the extra.
Abby Manaleg up top. What a great story. Didn't even have lacrosse at her high school. Number 11 trying to flash through. Shaw will come back out. Clark will slip coming through. Has to get up quickly as she was still in the crease. Good job defensively. Under 10. Here's Shaw trying to make a move inside. Clark up over the top. 3 seconds.
You know, whenever you play a zone defense, you know that you're going to give up some 3-second calls here and there, but it's something you're willing to do because your sticks are always in the passing lane. You make it difficult for any one-on-one challenges to happen. Right there, calling 3 seconds on number 14 for Notre Dame.
Here's Clark. They're going to wind up and over the top. That has been a problem for Virginia this year. They've gotten the shots off. One of the tops in the country in getting the shots off. Just not finding that piece to get the shots off on.
And Ashlyn McGovern taking that shot, that's actually one of her signatures. She likes to wind up and have a powerful shot. She's shooting about 50% on her free position, and anytime you can have an offensive player at around that 50%, you're thinking, okay, this is pretty good, but I think it was the lack of backup behind the goal cage that was even more detrimental for Virginia's offense. If you're going to take a shot, you got to have players there who are going to keep possession for your team.
Almost 35 shots per game by the Cavaliers. Julie Myers talked about that to us a little bit earlier in the season when we had the Louisville game. We're getting the shots, we're getting some good space to rip those shots. We just have to be more consistent as to where we're putting those shots on.
You know, it's always easier said than done, right? Because it's not like you're taking a shot and no defenders are around. You have people crashing in on an 8-meter from your left and right. So you have a lot of anxiety right before taking that shot.
Irish trying to clear some space out for another 1v1 again. And the backside check. Is that in the crease area court? Looked like it was, maybe.
Yeah, so as McAvoy was dodging, it looked like she just maybe lost her footing. Referee's not calling a foul for a push. They're standing right there, so they know what's being done on the field. As soon as she ended up in the crease, that ball immediately was changing possession, going to Virginia's goalkeeper. And as you see, they have no problem clearing it down the field, quick, easy. But then they're slowing things down, electing not to push transition, which again, these teams are very similar. They have speedy, athletic players in the middle of the field. And I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen more of that as of yet.
Under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter of play. Here's Clark trying to run through the middle.
How to beat the zone, it's all about sending not just one cutter, but two, and then making sure that those cuts are hard and fast. You don't want to cut through slowly and allow a lot of defensive players to make some easy contact.
Well, how about that? Mackenzie Hogue finishes the play. Hogue with the goal, Duffy on the assist, and we are tied up at 2. The Cavaliers answering, trying to keep that home field unblemished record alive.
The Fighting Irish looking and showcasing with their defensive work on the field as they are battling the Cavaliers today. We see that their sticks are up. They move quickly and efficiently, collapsing and crashing in their zone defense. We see why they keep many of their opponents to low single-digit numbers. And then their goalkeeper, Lily Callahan, coming up with those all-important saves as they are stifling on the defensive end of the field.
Just amazing numbers right there, where they rank nationally 5th in the country in goals against averages, Lily Callahan. But in a really wonderful conversation with she and Casey Choma last night, the first to always give the accolades to everyone on the team. And the Irish are a group of young ladies, there's no doubt about it, and as well as the Virginia Cavaliers. They enjoy each other's company so much. They're always laughing. It was pouring rain here yesterday. Sideways in buckets all of a sudden. And the Irish had just started practice. Virginia had ended practice, and they embraced it.
For lack of better terms, they added to the shower.
They did.
With their Gatorade water bottles. I love to see teams having fun. Sometimes traveling can be very tiring, but you make of it what you will. You just talked about Lily Callahan, Casey Choma. I thought the best part about their conversation was how They help one another on the field. Lily Callahan telling Casey where to shoot on other teams' goalkeepers and vice versa. Casey explaining where some attackers like to shoot. That's what teammates are for.
Absolutely, and that happens before the games when Choma, as the Irish will restart the possession, you see Choma kind of waving her hands. Let's slow down the attack here. So before the teams take the field, that conversation is had between Callahan and Choma, just trying to help each other out. And a nice save and a put away as Ashley Vernon gets good look at it.
We see a drop ride by Notre Dame, electing not to pressure the ball early. But again, if Virginia gets ahead of steam, that ball is able to cross that 30-yard line pretty easily. We haven't seen many fast break opportunities. Both teams slowing things down. It's like they're testing the waters with one another. And the looking in a mirror, that conversation happened with Christine Halfpenny, coach of Notre Dame. That's her quote. And we couldn't agree more that both of these teams so very similar, tough, physical.
Things tightening up within the 8. Quick movement of the ball by the Cavaliers, looking for that cutter, and it could be a break as Mackenzie Hogue bounces it home by Callahan.
Kate Miller, her eyes were up as that ball was moving around the perimeter quickly. She knows that Mackenzie Hogue is in there somewhere. As we watch right here, the ball moving from one point to the other, constantly making the defense have to shift and turn around. It wasn't necessarily a hard shot, but it was a well-placed one at that. She was catching the ball, actually getting fouled in the process. But as she caught it, she got rid of it quickly. We call that a quick stick without even cradling, and she just really redirected where that ball was. Both of these teams alternating goals throughout the day thus far, but right now Virginia with the lead.
For Mackenzie Hogue, her second of the day. And it's funny you should say that about the velocity, I guess you would say, of Mackenzie Hogue's shot, because Julie Myers was kind of smiling there after the goal on the sideline saying, you know, you don't need to rip it all the time. It's just having it in the most timely spot on the field. Irish trying to work quickly as Cavaliers size up their personnel. Third straight draw that Notre Dame has garnered, as we are under a minute to go already here in the first quarter of play.
So we started with Virginia coming up with a lot of possessions early on. Now it's Notre Dame. Lacrosse is a game of runs. So anytime you're out on the field, whether it's goals being scored or draws being taken, you just want to make sure to limit what the other team is doing and make sure that they don't go on an incredibly large run throughout the entire quarter.
MK Doherty, who started the scoring with the ball. Under 30 to go. Here's Casey Choma, represented the United States at the Sixes this summer. Gets the assist and the easy response. Doherty with her second of the game.
MK Doherty.
Casey Choma, she is a dodger and a goal scorer, but she does have the ability to dodge with her eyes up. And as soon as she saw MK Doherty inside, an excellent feed, great handle. She bobbled the ball initially, but as she's taking her defender down, we see two defensive players. All eyes were on Casey Choma because she's that lethal. And then MK Doherty with the one cutter inside. Excellent finish. Again, that nice quick redirect, not taking a lot of cradles because we know that the defenses are so very difficult. They're getting their sticks inside, they're crashing well, so they have to get rid of that ball quickly.
Could be time for one more opportunity for either of these teams with 20 seconds to go here in the quarter. Williams trying to jump in the air and grab it. Scooped up by the Irish. Clock quickly here. Got to go to goal. What an exciting first quarter of play in the books. Pretty much the way we started. All knotted up at 3 between the Irish and the Cavaliers. We'll be back with more here on the ACC Network after these messages. This Cavalier team to the NCAAs in all 27 of this 28th year. There's Coach Miller there, still on hand. Big part of Title IX across the country as well. And great to see Coach in attendance, and always a big part of the lacrosse and field hockey and women's athletics here at UVA.
Now you rely so much on your alumni. Obviously, Julie really relying on her former coach, who's always a big proponent for the team. And then she has a lot of former players here as they're celebrating the 1998 ACC championship. They had the opportunity to go to practice yesterday, talk with the players, and say, you know what, whether you know us or not, we're here rooting for you guys every step of the way. And thought that was a really touching moment, because a lot of these players forget that there were people who came before them, maybe who got the program started, and whether you know it or not, you now have the ability to put a name to a face and realize we have a lot of people rooting for us.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you experienced that in your collegiate days as well. You know that people are out there and caring, watching, and for the alumni to say, you know, we're proud of you and what you're doing on the field, and we get so much joy in watching you constantly play in something that back in the 80s and 90s that wasn't consistent as it is, such as games like today. So second quarter action, tied at 3, the Cavaliers with the ball. Out of the draw, here's Kiki Shaw. Up top, trying to work herself inside, and finally gets the whistle call on the hold.
Tough defense by Notre Dame. So even though they play a lot of zone, they are very good within their man defense as well. And that was a hard challenge by Kiki Shaw, but ultimately they called a cross-check to the body.
Here's Sean Callahan, goes low and scores. Might have been deflected a little bit off of her stick where she didn't get the velocity on it, but finishing on the play, Kiki Shaw for her 12th.
Leah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. Sometimes a redirect can just mix up a goalkeeper, but we see right there, defensively, she's positionally there. She was moving her feet, but it was the stick. She was giving too much body contact, and then Kiki Shaw with the shot. Again, sometimes that's all it takes. You use that defensive stick to your advantage, and now Virginia back with the 1-goal lead. And every single game for the past several years have been close. They've all been decided by a goal or two.
Kiki Shaw, one of the captains of this Cavalier squad.
Virginia settling down, getting comfortable with the draw control again. And we see, as they are trying to get that ball into their offensive 30, the tough riding of Notre Dame. Sticks her up. They don't want to make anything easy. Almost getting a caused turnover right there, but a foul was called. Oh, wide open cutter inside. Anytime you're playing a zone, you are playing a space, but you want to make sure to take the cutters. Those are most important.
Oh, and getting rocked. Coming through and receiving that ball was McGovern. She stood tall and puts it home.
Ashley McGovern getting close to that 200 point in her career. That goal is certainly going to add to her total. Ashley McGovern, the 5th-year senior, she generates most of her goals off of her cutting ability, seeing the space in front of her, catching, getting quick releases on the goal. Again, this zone plays into her style of offense.
McGovern with the goal, Shaw with the assist. So a goal and an assist for Kiki Shaw. Dennison Williams on the draw. And scooped right out of midair as it stays with Whitaker and the Cavaliers. Devin doing a nice job there, using her speed and aggressiveness to go after that ball.
You know, making a change. Virginia was losing the draw at the end of that first quarter, and here in the second quarter, they've already come up with all 3 draw controls. Something coaches like about the quarters as opposed to the halves is you can reset, you can, you know, adjust, make some changes. You don't look up at the clock as you used to in the past.
And Rachel Clark looks up and finds the back of the net. A run here by the Cavaliers.
Rachel Clark, she is just a sophomore, but she has put up some big numbers. You talk to Julie Myers, she says she's a Tewarton-type player. You see her ability just to bob and weave through that defense. Right here defensively, nobody's putting a body on her. She is making all efforts possible, putting UVA up by 3 goals as we have a good one on our hands.
Efficiency the key for the Virginia Cavaliers. They started the game 1 for 7 shooting and have since connected on all 5 shots. There you see their offensive numbers. The most potent offenses in the country.
You know, in statistics, they say a lot, right, about your team, but you then have to show up and you need to produce.
Right.
You need to continue to put up those type of numbers, and making a change, a little adjustment as this second quarter has begun.
Courtney, you said that last night, though. You know, this is both teams mirror images of each other, and you felt that Virginia, as a group of their triple threat altogether, hadn't really come together yet. Maybe today's the day.
There's always time for a breakthrough, right?
Absolutely, and that's the fun part of the game, adjusting and making the adjustments as you go along. Here's Clark. 4th straight draw, won by the Cavaliers.
And I do expect for Notre Dame's defense to make a change, some more aggressiveness well outside of the 8-meter, not giving them an opportunity to step up towards that line. So defensively, they've been tough, but not quite tough enough in this second quarter. So I think that was a good call by the coaching staff. Let them reset. You don't want a 4th goal happening in a row at the start of the second quarter. Again, stop any run from the opposing team.
Rachel Clark was pretty hard on herself after the Richmond loss in double overtime. Felt as though she had struggled quite a bit offensively, looked to try to reset. So this is a good momentum swing here for the Cavaliers, who have lost 3 of their last 4, and the Irish with an opportunity here, their first of this second quarter of play.
You see the leadership of Casey Choma wearing number 3 in blue right there for Notre Dame. Her hands went off of her stick and it was slow down. Let's relax.
Choma with the ball, a little stutter step. Working with Madison Ahern. Ahern also a member of that Sixes squad.
Anytime you have the opportunity to put on the red, white, and blue and to play internationally, you just can't help but see the game a little bit better when you come back at the collegiate level.
Wow! Vernon with the save as it bounced around. It was loose out in front. Chomo quick to point out that it was leaning on some of the veterans from the other countries that she got to watch too that has kind of helped grow her game just a little bit.
Always fun when you can play against other coaching staff. She had talked about Dana Doby, the Loyola assistant coach for Team Canada, and she said, we represented our country well. We were the youngest team who played in the sixes in Alabama this past summer at the World Games, and they were proud of their efforts, saying that they've played against some players who had kids in other countries. Some defensive calls going Notre Dame's way. Again, that timeout is doing exactly what it was meant to do. Pause the offensive prowess of Virginia and hopefully send Notre Dame on a little scoring spurt themselves. Again, Lacrosse, there's a momentum swing, and that's what you're looking for on the field.
Courtney, how physical do you feel Notre Dame is compared to some of the other teams that you've seen this season? Not that that was a physical play, because it really wasn't that created that turnover. And how much does that get in your head?
You know, I think their physicality speaks volumes to their group defensively, because it creates disruptions. And whenever you have a disruption, or whenever you have an attacker who's maybe looking to take you on, it's like, oh gosh, there's this entire group of 7 tough players in front of me. Am I really wanting to try and dodge through and maybe, you know, take some hard contact or feed it inside where they're going to be crashed upon quickly within their zone? So it does play in your head a bit.
Absolutely. Ahern with the ball. Number 10, trying to fend off Garfinkel. We had a nice conversation with Nina as well. Shot clock is not at 4. Irish don't get flustered and put away the goal. That stops the drought. And now the Irish back within 2.
The count was kind of throwing me off there for a second. I had to look at the shot clock. They had 10 more seconds time, but they looked to challenge when they were ready. That nice little stutter there, getting the defender on her heels. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you're changing direction in a one-on-one situation when the help is coming and it's a little bit late and you are looking to challenge towards goal. Jackie Wolak, again, we see her dodging capabilities, and I talk about her feeding as she leads her team, but again, she is just as lethal with scoring goals in those one-on-one opportunities as we've already seen twice today.
Wolak, a member of the 2022 ACC All-Tournament team, 2 goals on the afternoon. Change at the draw circle for the Irish to go up against Williams. Ava Krasniak. And Ava, just a sophomore. Dennis scoops it up. So the change works.
So looks like they're calling offsetting fouls.
So alternating possession will take over.
That's right. And the first alternating possession goes to Virginia. Prior to the game, each team's deciding, do they want alternating possession or do they want to pick which goal? Unless they're superstitious and unless the sun is in somebody's eyes as a goalkeeper, take the alternating possession.
Here's Maggie Bostain putting the gas on. Chomo was trying to get off the field.
They're gonna have a shot clock reset. So Virginia is gonna have a full 90 after that little offsides call. Ideal, and they can take their time. They're still leading by 2. There's no rush.
Off the foul and the restart. Katie Miller. Katie's got a lot of playing time in as a sophomore. Injuries last year really plagued the Cavaliers, and that allowed some of their younger players to get plenty of PT headed into this season. And Jaime Biskup, little shuttle underneath with a shovel one into the goal.
Notre Dame is applying some more pressure on ball, especially behind. We see them matching up, and that just opened up a lane for a nice ISO challenge, which you often don't see when you play against a zone defense. But Jaime Biskup saw that the sliding defensive player, that person in the zone up top, had dragged her player a little bit far off, and Jaime Biskup, nice little split, getting a step on her defensive player, changing the level of her shots as we get a look at it right here. Again, her stick is well hidden by her body, and she is able to take one to goal. And right now looking to extend their lead, Virginia. So this quarter alone, 4-1, Leah. 4-1 Virginia. This second quarter has been huge for them so far, but when you look at the clock, 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. That's a lot of time for a change to happen.
Room's got room to work here. 9-4, the difference now on the draws, the advantage to the Cavaliers. And they have won the last 6 consecutive.
Look how far out Notre Dame is going in their zone, stepping out. Again, I know they don't want to give up any 8 meters, but the farther out they're dragged defensively, the less they're able to protect inside, and their slides are coming from a greater distance.
Clark with that left release, smothered in by Callahan. Oh, look out! Miller had it for a second. Here comes Kiki Shaw. Can she scoop it up? She does, but the defense is surrounding her on the double team. Great effort.
Super sneaky in the ride. Kate Miller extending, really reaching with that one hand. Very impressive. She almost intercepted herself, and if she would have caught it cleanly and able to take off, we might have seen her off to the races.
Looking to clear a little space here for McGovern as she's checked from the backside. Nice job, kept alive by Virginia. McGovern resets her ponytail, flips it off to Rachel Clark. Look at Biskup. She's got the hat trick.
Excellent effort by Virginia as they rode to get that ball back. We see working hard Kiki Shaw right here coming up with the ground ball. And then different look by Notre Dame defensively. They're pressuring behind in their man defense now, and Jaime Biskup, when you see that you have an open lane and you have that defender's hips turned, it is time to go right to goal, and they have now extended their lead and doubled the score, 8-4.
So we have Jaime Biskup getting into the play here, right? And being a little bit more involved, taking the pressure off the scout. I guess you would say a little bit for Virginia as Notre Dame makes an adjustment and a change in goal.
That's right, illegal procedure at the draw circle, not what you want if you're the Fighting Irish right there. Another possession for Virginia. You just want the bleeding to stop. You want to come up with a big save. You want to come up with a defensive cause turnover to give your defense a break. It's very tiring to be on one side of the field for so long. So if they can just get the ball out of this area and stop these quick goals, because as of right now, 5 straight goals with 1 Notre Dame goal slipped in the middle of that. The second quarter has not quite gone their way so far.
Jaime Follett has come into the game pretty quick off of that last goal. Hasn't had an opportunity really to take any type of shots to warm up. And it's going to be trial by fire here pretty quick, unless her defense in front of her can give her a standing, catch her breath coming into this action.
And we've seen some good checks by Notre Dame. Unfortunately for them, a few fouls have been called. I mean, from up here, at a bird's eye, they look good.
Cavaliers with yet another goal. Rachel Clark. Kate Miller with a nice setup.
We see the first cut. I'm actually surprised that they still fed that ball inside. Very rarely is it the first cutter who's going to be open. But when it's Rachel Clark, you give her the opportunity to get a chance of getting a shot off. And as you had mentioned, Kate Miller, the one feeding that inside, she knew Rachel Clark, strong righty hand, sweeping across. Let's see how this goes, because their shots are falling, and let's challenge this new keeper.
Absolutely. And the second quarter hasn't been a bad quarter for the Cavaliers all year. They've had the advantage coming in to today's action at a +7 against their opponent. Typically, on the year, they are a third and fourth quarter team. As you see, Jaime Follett, who has come into the game for Notre Dame here. And a 5-goal Virginia lead here at home. Now, in case you joined us late, it's Notre Dame who is first in the ACC in draw control percentage. They struggled a little bit early on the draws, made some adjustments. They have Aubrey Williams, who's a draw specialist, number 15 in white, one of the best in the country. And they have won the last 8 draws here to take this 5-goal advantage.
And I like the fact that the Fighting Irish, they're working hard to try and slow the ball down before it gets over the 30, but then they just went off sides again. And you cannot give Virginia a full 90 within their offensive 30.
Choma. There's the outlet. Trying to get some numbers upfield here. Ahern finally controls it in.
And an offsides for Notre Dame. The ball is going to go back to Virginia. That's one of those mental lapses right now. It just seems like not a lot of things are going their way. 4 turnovers.
4 possessions, wow. And I was shaking my head at you because I can't really recall the last time that we have seen an offside called like that in a game. So all the crazy little things start to reel their head up just a little bit for Notre Dame right now, which that's part of the intangible factors that you have to figure out as the game progresses.
You know, it was when they were pushing the ball in transition for that fast break. Obviously, the pass wasn't quite on par as they got it into Madison Ahern's stick, and just maybe that one extra player, instead of holding at the line.
Don't have to hold on the line when you don't hold on to the ball. Faster movement. Morgan Schwab gets in the scoring column.
Ashlyn McGovern adding to her assist. That's her second one on the year. And Morgan Schwab flipping roles right here, because generally Morgan Schwab is the person who's quarterbacking the offense. So she and McGovern doing a little swap right there. Nevertheless, goal number 10, double digits now for the Cavaliers.
And how about that? As Courtney just pointed out, Morgan Schwab's first in the ACC in assists. But UVA now has scored 7 of the last 8 goals. They lead it by 6. And everyone is getting into the scoring column right now for UVA. Notre Dame goes back to Lily Callahan in goal.
You know, sometimes you just need a reset. It's not the first time that we've seen a coach do that. I think it's a great thing to do, just to get somebody to calm down. And it's like, wait a second, you know, let's talk things out a little bit, and then step back onto the field and be a spark out there. So I like that look. And Lily Callahan, she's a great goalkeeper. She has a 51% save percentage, so she can do it between the pipes. It's now just a matter of execution.
Now keep in mind, this is a Notre Dame team with their defense and Callahan in front of them. They have held 6 of 8 opponents to single digits this season. This is very uncharacteristic of the defense of the Irish. UVA has scored on 6 of their last 9 shots, really adjusting their play this quarter.
Now, Leah, we discussed a lot yesterday. This is something Virginia needed, though, as well. They have had some losses as of late. Virginia, James Madison.
Right.
And oftentimes when you have a few losses in a row, you're getting a little angry and you're like, we got to step up. And that so happens to be on the next opponent, which is today's game, Notre Dame.
Make sure you stay with us on the half. Sound on coming up with Tari and Amari. "22 seconds.
Notre Dame back to their zone defense.
Oh, Maneling's got some room to run, and the rebound out. Nice save by Callahan. Look out! Clark with the goal! 6 seconds on the clock.
Virginia is just firing on all cylinders. Right when you think there's not any time left on the shot clock. Great challenge by Maneling, even better save by Callahan. But then another opportunity, getting the ground ball for Virginia. You have Kate Miller, and immediately her eyes go up. She knows there's not a lot of time on the clock. And Rachel Clark, yet again, cutting inside. She is so very efficient, and they are firing on all cylinders.
Dennison Williams in the draw circle with 5 seconds to go here in this second quarter of play. Ball will go to Virginia, and the clock winds out. 7 minutes, Courtney, without any type of a shot by the Cavaliers, taking a page out of Notre Dame's book. The legacy of those left behind. Of course, Julie Myers coaching here at her alma mater as well.
You know, we talked to Nina and Ashlyn, both players on UVA, and they said it was so fun to see and meet alumni who have been in our position before us, and to know that there's a big army who's behind us, and they're coming to the game to cheer us on after they've already made their own memories, and now they're watching us make ours.
Third quarter action here from Klockner. Let's see, what type of adjustments, Courtney, do you feel as though Notre Dame needs to make in order to get back to where they were starting this game. They got on the board quickly. They were up 2-1, and then things kind of fell apart a little bit.
Already they're doing one right now. That's winning the draw control. In order to gain possession for your team, you got to win the draw. Win the draw, rule the world essentially, because you get possession for your team, and then you just need to keep repeating that while getting good quality looks on goal. So they're playing against a man defense. I think they can match up well with that because they have some good dodgers. When you look at Jackie Wolak, Casey Choma, Madison Ahern, they have the ability to do that. Now they just need to execute, relax, and realize that they have an entire half, 2 quarters, to get that done.
And certainly a lot can happen in 2 quarters of play. Maggie Bostaine, number 28, has really done a nice job defensively on Casey Choma. Trying to work the opposite side in this spin around. Kelly Dennis with the goal. Kelly has been key on the draw control win, and then spurs the goal on that play on the first opportunity here in the third.
So the ball is with Jackie Wolak right now, and we see them sending a quick double to her. Very smart on Virginia's behalf. However, her eyes are up. She has the ability to thread the needle inside. Dennis capitalizing. Quick turning away from the defensive player is what allows Kelly right there to get a better look on the goal. She saw her defensive player kind of overstepping to a side, so a quick turn back finally puts Notre Dame on the board since they had scored their 4th goal back in kind of early of that 2nd quarter.
Junior from Jupiter, Florida, and that stops about an 8.5-minute drought by the Irish. 11-5. 2 for 2. Oh, look out. They re-hold back on. Was a question just for a second there. You know, lacrosse or any sport, they're mental games. It's a matter of getting yourself to relax and just taking it one play at a time rather than thinking that we have a big hole to come out of. It's one play and then move on to the next. And so far, they've done that on each draw control. And if they can get a goal out of this possession, that'll be huge as well. Here's Madison Ahern. Cut off on that short post, being able to pass it across. And Vernon once again. Vernon's defense is giving her a good look opportunities back there.
You know, she's standing tall. She has her stick high. She's not going for any fakes. She's really holding her line well, which is very important for a goalkeeper. Not be too jumpy between the pipes. You see the sticks out, the quick feet, the communication from Notre Dame. They're very good defensively. So anybody who's just tuning in, probably surprised by this score.
Govern takes one over the top of the head. Somehow Callahan gathered that in the crowd. That's just the 5th turnover of the game by Virginia.
And one that was caused by Lily Callahan in goal, reaching out with her stick. That was a caused turnover. So anytime that another team is forcing that caused turnover, always much easier to swallow than an unforced error.
Ahern run off there. Nice job by Garfinkel. Wolak started the scoring off. And a foul inside the crease. Vernon trying to hold on, making her case.
And the UVA coaching staff trying to make their case of a goal circle violation, but the foul occurred before then. And that's what the referees are calling right now. So an 8-meter getting awarded to Kristen Shanahan, number 16 in blue.
Notre Dame 1-1 for this area today. Counted 2 for 2. And suddenly, a little 2-0 run here to open up the third quarter of play.
You know, it's just a 5-goal game at this point. We see the quick takeoff. She actually hedged away from her stick hand. She's a righty right now, so she hedged towards her left, giving herself not as much angle as she would have if she would have ducked her shoulder in, but the well-placed shot is all that matters for Kristen Shanahan, putting goal number 6 on the board for the Fighting Irish. And if you were drawing anything up right now, it would be that they are 2 for 3 on scoring here in the third quarter. That's important.
Absolutely.
They've won the draw controls as well. So they're already kind of flipping that switch in their favor.
Again, this is a quarter that typically, for UVA, is one of their top quarters in scoring. But taking advantage of the whistle and the frozen opportunities to convert into goals are the Irish. Capitalizing again as Dennis comes up with it. Looking for Choma. Off the foul. Continue on. Here's Casey. Osteen is there to meet her. Whitaker with a nice check on air. Comes up with the ball. Excuse me, that was Garfinkel, my sorry.
You know, she is one of the most, if not the most experienced defender for Virginia. Oftentimes she's tasked with face guarding or just having a matchup, period. And obviously we can see that battle right there. Ahern and Garfinkel, one that we've seen consistently throughout the game thus far. But she is the 6th year. She's in the master's program here at Virginia, getting her counseling certificate.
A tough assignment today with Madison Ahern. So the Cavaliers will look to respond to this little 2-0 run here by the Irish.
I like the patience that we're seeing from Virginia right now. Schwab thought about pumping it inside, but realized we have time, and why not use the clock? It is in your favor at this point.
Little thread pass from Clark to McGovern, nothing there. Now Virginia has to hurry. 4 seconds. Not on the release. Ball back to the Irish.
Now that is exactly what Notre Dame needs, kind of fuel their fire defensively. They let up a lot of goals in the second quarter. So they've made a change. They're coming up with some stops against that high fire-powered offense of Virginia. And that has to boost their confidence. That's what you need. We saw the sidelines getting pumped, the coaching staff. Anytime you can, number one, stop a shot, but better yet, get the shot clock violation. It means you're doing something right on that defensive end. Their sticks are up, their feet are moving. They're stopping those easy inside looks that we saw so much of in that second quarter.
Dennis trying to work that ball back inside. Ricocheted funny off of the post. That's not where it was supposed to go.
She was looking inside. Jackie Wolak for a teammate, and it just kind of skipped past, and then it hit the post. That would have been, if we had a 2-point shot, it would have been a 2-pointer.
All right.
Right here, we saw that inside. Oh, and it actually tipped off of her teammate's stick inside. Wow. Abby Machen. That was almost a really fancy redirect. Instead of a goal being scored, Abby Machen, number 33 right there, has a yellow card. It's going to be releasable. But right now, Virginia's going to be a woman up for the next few minutes.
They'll recycle the clock once again. Third foul.
Ugh, yeah, and those are those little small mental mistakes that you cannot give Virginia a full 90. You've done a great job of riding, looking to slow the play down, waste some time off the clock, so that way your defense isn't playing defense for another full 90 seconds.
Taylor Mullen, number 42, coming in and getting some action here in the third quarter of play as she cuts through. Clock now is certainly the friend here in the midway point of the third quarter for the Virginia Cavaliers. Taking advantage of the man up. Mullen slinger that really rebounds out off Callahan.
And Lily Callahan, she's coming up with some big saves inside. That was a wide open shot from Ashlyn McGovern right on the doorstep, and Lily Callahan denied it, so much to the point where it's almost bouncing to the sideline on that rebound.
Biskup did enough to draw the foul, and boy, she made a great catch.
30 seconds on the penalty.
Right before this 8-meter, we're going to see Ashlyn McGovern right there using her noggin, Lily Callahan.
Great effort by both teams. The ball will go back to the Irish. Penalty is almost up.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So not only did they make a defensive stop, but they did it being a player down. That's huge. So they have to, again, be gaining confidence each and every one of these steps. UVA has not scored here in the third quarter, and if they can continue with momentum.
Julia Carr, she had some room for a second, decides to bring it back out.
Probably wise, because I don't think she's taken a shot this entire season thus far, getting it into...
Has an assist on the year, hasn't scored on the year. But we have seen players go from end to end. Another yellow card here. And the card will be on the Cavaliers. Let's see who finds their way to the bench.
Number 28, cross check.
So Maggie Bostain picks up on the cross check there. Nice job by our crew to pick up that audio.
Number 28.
And we see some personnel changes happening for Notre Dame. Coach Halfpenny talked a lot about her, not EMOs, but EWOs, extra woman offenses.
Jaime, Vernon gathers it in, smothers that ball as it was laying out there.
I'm actually really surprised she went for that 8-meter. When you have a player up opportunity, you generally want to make sure that you're finding that wide open player as opposed to an 8-meter free position, which they're tough. Again, we talked about people crashing in from the left and right. It's not a gimme goal.
Cavaliers now 0 for 4 in this quarter. As the defense has gotten a little bit tighter for the Irish. Cavaliers in no hurry to go to goal here. Down a player.
So they can put some more pressure on the ball. They have an extra defensive player out there, Notre Dame. But you also want to make sure to not give up anything easy. And an excellent cause turnover right there for Notre Dame as they still have numbers for the next 30 seconds.
Droney Inside the release, and Wolak with the goal. Sure hands there of Jackie Wolak.
So you have to give credit to the defense right here. They did a great job of sticks being in the lane, pushing the fast break transition, and it has been all Notre Dame here in the third quarter as they have gone on a 3-0 run.
Welcome back to Klockner Stadium with the Cavaliers leading 11-7 here. The celebration of the '98 ACC champion Cavalier squad, and they have to be very pleased right now with the way that Virginia has come out of the blocks here to hold on to this lead. But Notre Dame's coming back, taking a piece of what Virginia did in that second quarter of play.
You look at the draw control comparison right here, quarter by quarter. They were trading punches in the first quarter. The score was tied 3-3 at the end of that first quarter, and then it was all Virginia right there. You look at, they won every single draw control, and they scored 8 goals during that one, and this one has been all Notre Dame here in the third. So again, the momentum swing can happen quickly, and each of these teams taking advantage of when their team has the ball in their stick. So just to add some pressure to the draw takers right there.
Virginia has come away with all of the draw opportunities of this quarter.
Very quick ball movement by Virginia as they are looking to slice and dice this zone with passes, with cuts.
Enough for the shooting space.
Kiki Shaw at the line. As soon as she got the ball, as it swung around quickly, looking to challenge is what culminated in that shooting space call. Defensive player was farther than a stick length away, and she has put Virginia on the board here in this third quarter. We see the ball move from one person to the next, and this challenge right here, we see number 22 in shooting space, almost like a deer in headlights inside of that 8-meter circle, and Kiki Shaw incredibly fast off the line, which is what it takes to score an 8-meter goal. Quick off the line, protect your stick, and get a quality shot on goal, hopefully in that one-on-one situation.
Second of the day for Kiki Shaw. Certainly see the development of this Virginia squad as the season has progressed. And for number 23 in white, Kiki Shaw, both of her goals today coming off of the free positions. And Manalik scooping it up, trying to keep control, looking for a teammate, gives it to McGovern.
So a 5-goal game, not insurmountable by any sense of the word for Notre Dame, but they do need to go back to winning the draw control, getting some quick shots on goal and doing it sooner rather than later, even though there's another quarter. Generally by the fourth quarter, you're feeling a little bit tighter. You're getting nervous because you know that's your last opportunity of play in the game. So defensively, I think they do a great job when they get out and they pressure and they get on the hands a little bit more of the UVA players. Just like this.
Almost a little give and go action there, but a good job recovery by the defense. Clark's knocked off over the top. Might have been enough of being knocked because she was checked on the backside, so that'll set her up. Tough angle. Virginia, 50% on the opportunities today from the line, smothered in by Callahan.
When we look back to that second quarter when Lily Callahan came out of the game, have a little bit of a reset before she went back in, we see that that tactic worked. Just that small little reset before she went into goal, and she's come up with some big saves when she returned in the game throughout this third quarter. A lot of point-blank shots right on her doorstep.
Absolutely. Shanahan, who already has a goal to her credit, number 16, with a pass off there to Choma. Shanahan's dad, Doug, won the first Tewaaraton Trophy during his days at Hofstra back in 2001. Collapsing defense by the Cavaliers. Annika Meyer scooped it up there for a second. And the ball will go back to Notre Dame.
Kristen Shanahan on the hanging hash. I do expect for her to probably pull this one out. This is a low angle hash. Virginia with a different look as well. They're in a zone defense.
Doherty with 2 goals on the day. Bostein is really doing a nice job tying up Choma. She has a little bit of a height advantage as well.
Yeah, this is a better hash right now. Kristen Shanahan, not quite top center, but next hash to the left of that. This is a good one to take a shot from today.
Shanahan rushes in. She's got time and bounces off of Vernon. Third quarter in the books. Notre Dame with a little stinger to come out of this third quarter of play. And the Cavaliers holding on and responding to cling to this lead, 12-7 after 3 quarters here at Klockner. Today's game, a collaboration between Virginia and Notre Dame. Rivals on the field, but they came together before this game started for Morgan's Message.
Morgan's Message, what a great program. When you think of players from each team coming together, Lily Callahan is an ambassador, and when she said she talked with some UVA players yesterday, and it's all about just coming together and talking about the important message, matters like mental health, even just injuries, eating disorders. They talk about any and everything because so many things affect all these young people today that we really didn't have to deal with.
No.
And they go through so much, whether it's through social media, and just taking time to talk about it says a lot.
Well, when you think about it too, in our eras, 2 different eras, you weren't really, you didn't feel comfortable talking about it. And that was probably the biggest thing. And of course, Morgan's Message, the nonprofit, striving to eliminate the stigma surrounding mental health within the student-athlete community and really around the entire student body of the school. And started in memory of the former Duke student-athlete in Morgan Rogers, who unfortunately passed away in 2019. And I encourage you all to go to the website for Morgan's Message and learn about it. Is really been embraced by so many teams at all different levels across the country, regardless of the sport. It's not just the lacrosse piece, it's student athletes, period. And the response by the Irish to start this third quarter of play. And Wolak with her 3rd of the game.
Jackie Wolak, been so impressed with her ability to just take her one-on-one matchup She stutters, throws in a few jabs, and then really dodges hard to cage, protecting her stick, putting her body between the defender and her stick. Great job. Again, very underrated player and somebody that Coach Halfpenny can't talk enough about, and you see why. She has the ability to put the team on her back when needed.
Certainly should be in the conversation for the Tualatin. It's Coach Halfpenny gathering the troops. Williams and Dennis in the circle. 15-8. Aubrey Williams and her teammates with that advantage today. Choma off the whistle, scoops it up.
Virginia applying a lot of pressure in the ride. I like it. Both of these teams know a lot is riding on this game, not just adding another win to their belt. But these two are very similar in terms of ACC and national rankings. So it matters just that much more.
You know, and it's interesting just watching how what was transpiring in that play, Courtney. Cavaliers aren't really biting to any action that Notre Dame is providing them. Just really staying home on the play.
Very fundamentally sound. Oftentimes we don't see a lot of man play anymore. Obviously, any team who plays straight man, they have a zone option and vice versa. But they are known for their tough one-on-one, aggressive style of defense. Other teams that are known for that are also within the ACC, UNC, Maryland. Very tough in their man defense.
State turned on the Jets here, trying to get over the line. She does. Speed racer. And now the Cavaliers can kind of settle in, take a little bit of time off the clock.
And I'm not surprised by her speed. She was a midfielder who moved to the defensive end, as are a lot of defenders nowadays. Really embracing that role. We see a little bit of slipping happening here and there. Again, have to talk about the torrential downpour that happened yesterday. At some point as a field continues to get played on, you have to wonder if that's going to become a factor here and there.
It's been misting on and off here in Charlottesville. And the foul called. Ball will stay with Virginia. It is the weather, I call it raw, as we take a look at the foul, Courtney.
We see right here, Rachel Clark, she was getting held by her defensive player. That's what that foul was, and 8-meter free position. She is 1 for 2 at this point. And Virginia extending their lead back to 5. Now, in this fourth quarter, Notre Dame can't afford to go 1 for 1 back and forth. They need to put a string of goals together in order to bring themselves back into this game. But Rachel Clark right there doing a little Spinderella action inside. 35th goal on the season.
Rachel lost track of that ball just for a second, scooped it back up, and maybe that's why she's probably kind of chuckling to herself right now, able to get that ball back in, under control. 4th of the day on 7 shots for Rachel Clark.
Lacrosse, such a back and forth fast style of game. The shot clock makes things exciting. Very run and gun style. No team can hold on to the ball as you used to do in my era.
Right.
Which makes it more exciting, and the athleticism, the speed that you see from these players. It's just amazing how the game has evolved and is going to continue to.
Whitaker and Bostein working it out of the back. Here's Maggie. She was the winner of the Yardley Love Endowment Scholarship, 21-22. Also a very important cause as well on the Virginia side, which has become embraced certainly across the lacrosse landscape.
Virginia, as a university, as an athletic department, they've been through so much.
Yeah, they really have. We have. And the community here in Charlottesville is amazing as Clark rockets it in, number 5 on the day. 100th goal of her career.
Rachel Clark, a preseason All-American honoree. She had 6 goals previously at Princeton. Her placement is exactly where you want any attacker shooting on an 8-meter free position. Offside hit from a goalkeeper, that's the longest spot from where that stick needs to slide to if you're a goalkeeper. She worked a lot on her speed and fitness during the offseason, and it is paying off as she is quick off that line, and she is a shooter through and through. But again, Julie Myers right there talks about Rachel Clark being one of the top players that she has ever coached. And that says a lot, because she's been a coach here at Virginia for 28 years, the head coach, the assistant before that.
Clark, the reigning ACC Freshman of the Year and first teamer. And certainly a lot of weight goes on that as you begin your second year. Rachel has had to figure it out a couple of times as scouts certainly key on her, and been a big factor today as the Cavaliers with a 6-goal advantage in this key game against Notre Dame. Again, these two teams started the day 3-1 in conference play. Head-to-heads could certainly be looked at as we head towards the ACC championships. And then the bigger piece, it's inevitable that these two teams could see each other again come NCAA tournament time.
In the ACC conference, just period, it is the best conference in the country for women's lacrosse. So many teams ranked. So many teams have not just 1 or 2 players, but countless players who are being looked at for All-America honorees.
Oh, Wolak's shot rings the pipe and bounces all the way out. Great hustling effort, but the ball will go back to Virginia.
And we see Coach Halfpenny, as she said, I'm passionate. And you see it from the sideline as a coach. You see it from her. She still plays competitively in tennis. Love that. But you want to fight for your team, and that was a pretty close one. So
Absolutely.
Her players see that of her, and that gives them an extra little pep in their step as well.
Under 9 minutes to go in the game. Virginia trying to snap a streak of losing 3 of their last 4. Notre Dame having won their last 2.
And the quick ball movement of Virginia, it's been so key. They're looking for those passing lanes for any of their their teammates cutting inside. You see 1, 2, several players on one another's heels, looking to break through the zone.
Band helping out now, and a nice job as Jaime Biskup finishes on the play. It's a 7-goal game. Number 8 with the goal.
Wow, tic-tac-toe passing. Virginia coming up with that ball, moving it quickly, extending their lead by 6, looking to run away with this one.
Rachel Clark with 5 goals on 8 shots. Number 5 lighting it up for the Cavaliers this afternoon.
Rachel Clark giving a lot of different looks. She is cutting, she is dodging. She is quick off the line on her 8-meter, even with little miscues, slip. She is doing her job offensively, shooting over 50%, and she has extended the lead for Virginia here in the fourth quarter, which is what they needed to kind of run away with this one. You want to close the door and you want to close it quickly because Notre Dame does have the ability to come back. They have the defense, they have the offensive firepower, but right now, Rachel Clark helping Virginia put that game out of reach.
6 different goal scorers now in 9 of the last 11. And they are on their mark, averaging 15.3 goals per game. Tomorrow afternoon, women's lacrosse, a doubleheader. Number 18, Duke, and Maddie Jenner, who just went over 100 goals on her career, take on Pitt. That's at noon, followed by number 3, North Carolina, hosting number 22, Clemson, right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app.
Ooh, this is going to be a yellow card for Virginia.
MK Doherty will walk off.
And now we're going to see the extra woman offense coming out for Notre Dame.
Check that. It looks like actually the card is on Bostain. Maggie Bostain picking up the card. That's her second. That's her second yellow.
So she will be out of this game for the remainder of the time. We saw some new personnel coming in for Notre Dame. Last time a card happened, they took an 8-meter free position. They are obviously going to be more diligent with finding that open player this time around.
And as Bostain goes off, she has done a super job. Her matchup was against Choma. And Casey trying to flash in there inside the 8 near that crease area. So it'll be a team effort here as the assignment will change a little bit.
So this is going to be a 3-second call. So an 8-meter free position awarded to Madison Ahern.
Madison Ahern, the senior, former Massachusetts Division I Player of the Year in high school. Ahern finds the back of the net.
Madison Ahern.
All right, last time I said you don't want to take an 8-meter when your team is a player up. Find the open one. She was confident though. She came off that line quickly, put another goal on the board for the Fighting Irish, and that's going to release the penalty for Virginia. So it's going to be even from this point forward here in the fourth quarter. Closing the gap a little bit, 9-15. But Notre Dame, they still have some work to do, and it starts with winning the draw.
Ahern, the 2-time All-ACC second team. Daughter for Dad's also a big thing that both of these teams are involved in on the year. Lily Callahan also, I guess the ambassador, you would say, for the Notre Dame squad.
She's involved in a lot, and it was very apparent when we spoke to her. She has a lot of things that she likes to look after. She said they're all great experiences for her personally. She went through a lot. The Daughters for Dads was great support for her. She said her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer during her freshman year, right as the season was beginning, her mom, Jenny, and she said that was just a lot to deal with, and these different organizations, you know, helped her work through a lot of this.
Mom Jenny, no better thing to look up in the stands and see your friends and family. Bravo, Jenny, as she has fought the battle and winning the battle with a very rare type of breast cancer. And Lily being a spokesperson for Daughters for Dads. So out of the timeout and the goal. Virginia actually taking the timeout there to discuss things and making sure that no momentum swings in the way of the Irish. But the ball will go back to Virginia. And Menelik on the whistle. Abby looking for somebody to dump it off to. Restart it again here, a little quick on the whistle as Dennis trying to sneak one away on a check. Six minutes to go. And look at that! Jaime Biskup just making it look easy today. Tap dancing in.
It is Jaime Biskup adding to her goal tally. Ashlyn McGovern with the assist right here. 2 assists on the day today. She had come in with just 1 assist on the year so far, so already doubled that amount. And Jaime Biskup with 4 goals. Unselfish play for the Cavaliers, an excellent ball movement. Finding that wide open player down on the crease.
Jaime Biskup having a career high day, picking up her 5th of the day. Notre Dame's got to go to goal quickly here as we approach about 5.5 to go. Ahern looking for someone.
A bit of a sense of urgency. It doesn't take long to score a goal from the draw or from the opposite side of the field off of a goalie save. So there's plenty of time, but they just need to do things quickly.
Wow. Casey Choma getting knocked to the ground there by Whitaker. Whitaker will go behind. And Devin really has done a good job today as well defensively. She and Garfinkel have both done a good job defensively for the Cavaliers. Look out! Doherty's shot is wide. It'll stay with the Irish. Wolak changes hands, and it works. A little frustration on that throw of the stick afterwards, but the finish there, and suddenly leads cut to 6.
Virginia denying her right hand right here. We see excellent defense and a little bit of overplaying, and Jackie Wolak very smart. As soon as she felt that defender leaning, a quick change of direction, but then exploding out of that little switch is what I think did her in. She headed towards the goal with a head of steam, that change of direction, and the explosion. What a move right there. Jackie Wolak having a career day for herself. Notre Dame putting goal number 10 on the board, but I just talked about Ashlyn McGovern a second ago. That actually puts her at 200 career points.
Amazing.
So another career day for the two players who we just happened to highlight, right?
Boom. Wolak also doing a nice job today. Her career high coming off of 4 goals earlier this year against Duke. So Clark also with quite the accomplishment today as well. 100 goals on her career. And we'll see here with the Irish trailing by 6 as Notre Dame gets the personnel on the field. Ahern.
So they're looking to set up some isolations, but not quite clearing enough space for that.
It was there for a flash of a second, as unfortunately Whitaker goes over the top on the double team and takes out Wolak.
And if there's a player that you're gonna foul, I'm not quite sure if it should be Jackie Wolak, as she has some big points on the board today.
Wolak with the bouncer, and it's in. Notre Dame now 4 for 6 on the free positions.
So right here, that tough defensive, is it a foul by 3? Is it a foul by 2 for Virginia? Either or, take your pick, but that set up Jackie Wolak onto the 8-meter free position. I like the fact that she is mixing up her shot selection, where she's placing them. 4th goal today. She is doing her job on the field again. Generally the feeder, but that's not what's needed of her. She's stepping up. Very well-balanced attacker.
A lot of time left here, too. 3:26 to go in this game.
I will say I understand Coach Halfpenny saying she's just underrated.
Right.
I am Team Wolak right now. Very impressed. She's calm, cool, and collected on the field.
Hey, this is a great opportunity for the Irish here. Trying to rush and get their personnel on the field. A little bit of confusion. Choma trying to turn the corner on Whitaker. Nice deflection there by Devin. She's got a little bit of a height advantage.
You know, it still has to be noted, Virginia with their tough one-on-one defense, they are without number 28, Maggie Bastain at this point.
Madison Ahern getting in the scoring column here late is the senior. And a key piece for Madison, her 24th of the year. Cuts this to 4.
So Madison Ahern changing where she's at on the field, feeling that defensive player. I like the fact that she stepped away for a second, getting her defensive player to lean a little bit. And then her hard challenge to goal. Defenders on either side, it shows her composure with the ball, her protection with her stick. Again, that shot placement, they're changing up where they were shooting. We saw a lot of high shots early on in the game, and now they're bringing their stick up, snapping it down low. Again, it's changing the plane, throwing off goalkeepers as much as you can.
Oh, we got an interesting one now.
I mean, that was all-out hustle right there. We saw both Notre Dame players come from behind Virginia. They actually had a slight edge on that draw control. Notre Dame kind of willing themselves, throwing in some more speed.
Wow, and the goal! It's cut to 3. Just a little over 2 to go in the game. Timeout taken on the field to try to thwart this run by the Irish.
Look at that, 3 players heading to Jackie Wolak right there, as she's had the last 2 goals and now the final assist to Casey Choma, closing the gap to just 3. But it all stemmed from that draw control, out hustling, out working. What was, I would have said, a 70-30 draw control, that ground ball. All of a sudden went to 50-50, and then Notre Dame willing it into their stick with speed. Incredible fortitude on the field, and great work by their draw team.
4-0 run here by the Irish. Coach Christine Halfpenny told us, you know what, we have a wall around us. We try to keep things simple. We understand we can't control a lot what goes on nationally. Let the attention be on others. We feel very confident. These 4 straight goals right now with Notre Dame as they are zoned in 2:21 to get back into this game. And Julie Myers says, enough, we're gonna try to do what we can with this timeout. Try to stop this offensive attack.
You know, in a smart timeout, 4 straight goals by Notre Dame. You want to, number one, give your team a second to regroup, chat things up a little bit, but and give them a little bit of a break.
Right.
Time is on their side. If they win this possession, they essentially could take a minute and a half off the shot clock.
Right.
And then there's only 1 other possession time left. So it's win this draw. This next one has to be ours to come away and walk away with a win, secure it for the team, for the alums that are in the stand. Again, I'm just guessing what she's going to be saying as a former coach, but she's very inspirational in her talks that she gives.
McGovern scoops it up, checked away. Ball will go back to Ashland. Oh, goodness. Wow, on the turnover, it goes back to the Irish. And with that, Coach Halfpenny wants to take a timeout to discuss it. Wow, 9th turnover by Virginia. As Coach Christine Halfpenny will set something up here, utilizing this timeout with 1:32 to go.
As we take a look back at this turnover, I almost want to say it was caused by this relentless pressure of Notre Dame. Ashley McGovern, 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders around her at that point. She was looking to get rid of the ball quickly. So while she was running with speed away from the pressure, it was a pass from her, a little too high for her teammate. But this giving Notre Dame a chance to talk about what they need to do in the next minute 32, which it's doable. Right. It is absolutely doable. But they just have to make the most of this very first possession and then go back to winning the draw.
So not just thinking about the moment, but what's the thought process here in kind of thinking ahead just a little bit if you're Notre Dame, and then on the flip side for Virginia?
Well, I'm going to go back to their acronym at this point. This season, their acronym is FAST. That's their word. And they say we play fast, so they're going to have to play fast. They play aggressive. They're going to have to be aggressive at the draw control. Let's be sharp. Okay, sharp in their shooting and then playing together. And they need to pull together to come up with this team win. So, I mean, I'm going back to their word.
Their word is the word as we get set to restart the action. Hannah Droney will start it once the whistle blows. She will be met by a double team of Clark and McGovern. Of course, this timeout allows everybody to match up on the field. Good quick passes to get in to the attack mode. Dennis to Ahern. Got to go to goal quick. Choma, oh, double check. Dennis with the shot, goes wide. It'll stay with the Irish. Well, hold on here. Little whistle beforehand. Okay, it's gonna come back out up top.
That's a big call right there. One that you're not happy with if you're a Virginia fan, but ecstatic if you're a fan of the team in blue.
Four for 6 today are the Irish. Oh, and it's tipped from behind. Nice job on the check there. I believe it was Meyer. We're going to see it on the replay if we have an opportunity. Erica's made, if that's the case, 2 nice jobs defensively here.
A great stick right there. Number 4, Annika Meyer. Getting a stick on that shot, huge, and then even bigger was the backup behind the goal cage. Virginia coming up with it as opposed to giving a second and third look for Notre Dame.
Timeout taken by Virginia as they were feeling the pressure. Julie Meyer said, okay, that's enough. This series has been tight one, 12 meetings. Last time Virginia has won in this series dates back to 2018. The last time they have won at home, you have to go back to 2017. And they have been close. No goal, or excuse me, no game decided by the last 3 of the last 4 by 2 goals or less.
And this is a big one. As you look there, Fighting Irish, they've won. Notre Dame has won the last 5 meetings. So this is a big game. Again, we talk about within the ACC, ultimately within the NCAA, because these teams potentially are going to see one another. Again, ACC tournament, potentially the NCAAs, and they are in the toughest conference. So every win matters. Yes, both of these teams are ranked, but you want to try and get as best seeding as possible for conference tournament as well as NCAA time.
Yeah, especially coming in, these 2 teams were tied 3-1 in ACC play. As you see 2 of the stellar coaches, Christine Halfpenny on the left side, Julie Myers on the right side of your screen. Great respect too between these 2 coaches and all the coaches in the ACC. 42 seconds remain out of the timeout.
A green card to the players on the field, maybe for not backing up, but I haven't even seen her pick up the ball, or maybe due to one of the Notre Dame coaches being on the field, but green card is given. To number 19 coming off the field for the Fighting Irish. Anya Massacre. And we have 3 players surrounding the ball.
Whitaker slips. She'll retain it. Clock continues to run. Now the clock stops.
And another green card is given to Notre Dame, number 55, Kelly Dennis. Now this most definitely makes it hard. You need the ball back, but you are 2 players down for the remainder of the game. Just difficult. So if Virginia can take care of this ball, this game is pretty much in their favor at this point.
Rachel Clark trying to run it into a corner here. It started off Notre Dame out of the block quick from the first draw. They controlled those first few draws. We were 3-3 after 1 quarter of play. Virginia made some adjustments. Opened up the scoring by halftime. And taking control with 6 different goal scorers on the afternoon. And the Cavaliers at home improved to 4-1 in ACC play. 4-0 on the season at home here at Klockner with a 16-13 victory over Notre Dame.
Big win for Virginia. It's their first one since 2018. But ultimately, Virginia walking away with this shows their resilience. They've had 2 losses as of recent, so kudos to their team right now. They did a great job with a tough Notre Dame team.
That'll wrap this one up from Charlottesville, 16-13 Cavaliers.